Okay, we're red.
We are red.
Okay, that means it's streaming. So we're green over here on,
On Intensity Pro 4K,
yeah. Now over on Facebook, you're going to have to hit the go live button
Okay.
down at the bottom.
Yep.
And there we are, we're live. So now you can see the chat. And now what you want to do is open up that other window.
Which one are
The other Facebook window. Yeah. And that's our group. So now you want to go over there and let everybody know where we're streaming today, because we're not streaming in the group. We're actually streaming from the page today.
Right. Okay. That one, or actually probably this one right here.
And there's Wiley's 3D. I see him there. I gotta get my computer back up and running here.
Andy Emblo.
Hi, Andy. Welcome, Andy. We are, bear with us, guys. We're doing a little bit of stuff today. And we'll go there. Got a lot of stuff open today. All right, so now you can go back to, I'm trying to see around your head.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, now you're back where you need to be. So yeah, now you can just let me know who's where, what's happening. And if I go over here to my channel.
3D printer trucker here.
3D printer trucker.
Thomas Elrod.
There's Andy, there's Thomas, there's Wiley's, there's... Did you find that STL I sent you on Facebook for the air sign? Yes, I did. I did. Thank you very much. Gary says, hey, I finally remembered to make it on time. Hey, there's Brian Baker, or Mark Baker. Brian Baker sitting in the chair today. Frank is unable to be here. He had another appointment. So there you go. There's Brian's hand. You guys have seen Brian on the show. So Brian's helping us out today. Let's see what we got going on over here. I'm going to go and have a look-see so I can see who's talking. And there's Maker Mike Turner.
Yes, the pressure is on Gary.
Pressure's on Brian today. Yes, it is. So today we are going to be talking about some stuff that's come up in the news recently. So I'm going to be looking at my notes. I've got links in the description, both on Facebook and on YouTube today. So you guys will be able to see what's going on there. Let's just, for today, hey Rich, good afternoon. Hello, sir. Mark Baker. Sorry, Brian. You guys aren't related, I don't think.
No, not at all.
Not at all. So we got a couple minutes before we run that intro. So I got one of these things in the mail. And this is a 3D printer pen. Let me go to my upper camera. So this is a 3D printer pen, and I'm going to be doing a review on this thing in the next couple of days, and then that will air next week. You guys will see the printer pen. I think is coming out next Friday, and I'm going to be doing a filament review for Monday. Now, I'm not going to be here Monday or Friday this week or Monday next week, so I'm pre-recording all that stuff for you guys. So you get to see that next week. On Friday, we got a special episode coming up that we're going to talk about. David Sell, hi from Minnesota. Hello, sir, from Minnesota. Let's see who we got over there on Facebook.
Got Jess in, Jim McGregor.
Jess.
I thought Maker Mike was on both, but I think he's on Facebook.
Maker Mike might be on both of them. Some guys go to both of them. Now, today we're streaming from our page, not our group. So we're trying to get our ducks in a row here, as it were. Whoa, I'm posing twice.
That's Jess posting.
She's posting as us?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, that could be dangerous. All right, now, Brian has a camera in front of him. So now you get to see Brian.
Now I just need a mic
Just-
and we're set.
Yeah, well, we'll get you a mic. Oh, just here today, PC being tasked heavy today. Wow, Maker Mike. Alrighty. So, hey, it's 1:31. Let's run that intro.
All right.
Hey, welcome to another Coffee with Rich. I know it's been a while since you've seen my smiling face. As most of you know, last week I got bit by a spider, so I was kind of down for last week. My name's Richard Cleveland, if you don't know who I am. And of course, I'm here with you hopefully 3 times a week. Not in the last couple of weeks, but, and I'm not going to be here on Friday. I'm pre-recording Friday's show and I'm pre-recording Monday's show because I'm going to Edmonton this weekend for a wedding. So, but there will be a show on Friday and there will be a show on Monday. So you guys will have all that juiciness. Now, let me tell you about what you're going to find out on Friday. Friday, we've got a Emilio Vitt interview coming up. And for those of you guys that don't know who Emilio is, he does some great sculptures, 3D sculptures, and does an amazing job. So I had a chance to interview him, so we talked a little bit about 3D printing, how he goes about 3D printing and all that kind of stuff. So now, what else we got? Coming up on Monday, if Brian wants to pass me that box that is down on the floor by him, he knows what box.
Oh, yes.
Yes. We are going to be reviewing the Sunlu 3D printer filament from Sunlu. This is their PLA Plus, so we're going to be talking about that on Monday. I'm going to show you guys how that worked out. And then on next Friday, you guys are going to see how to use a 3D printer pen. And we have a contest going right now for a 3D printer pen. For anybody that hasn't saw the Gleam contest, we're using Gleam from now on to do all of our contests because it's just so much easier. They pick the winner. I don't have to worry about putting all the names in a virtual hat. All the names go directly into the Gleam database and then they pick a winner and then we'll send out one of these 3D printer pens to whoever wins it. And that's going till the end of August. So I want to thank William Donald over at Innov 3D for putting me in touch with those guys. Hey, there's Daniel Wright. Welcome, sir. There's a Canadian Maker Project. And let me see who else we got there. And that should be about, there's Jim McGraw. Okay, we know who's there now. All right.
Mike says,
So,
don't be down at the moment. Make sure the spider still likes you.
the spider doesn't like me. And no, I'm not shooting webs out my butt. Just so you guys know. Hey, there's John Powell. How are you, sir? So let's talk about, and I want this to be an open discussion. So get your questions ready and I'll answer what I can about it. I want to talk about 3D printing and firearms today. It's been a hot topic the last couple of days, and I've been kind of looking into it. There's some great articles online right now. Oh, why do they keep bringing it? Don't. Oh, my God, I hate these guys. But first, let's talk about what the impact is of 3D printed firearms. Now, Brian's going to relay your questions to me because I've got some notes I have to look at and I won't be able to see your questions for a few minutes. But 3D printed guns, there was supposed to be legislation passed today in the US. That now has been pushed back again. There is some big squabbles going on about First Amendment rights, Second Amendment rights, freedom of speech, internet, what the internet's available to do, yada, yada, yada. So the EFF is involved in it. There's all kinds of parties involved trying to get this put out there. Now, here in Canada, we have different laws. We have different gun control laws. Wherever you are in the world, wherever you're watching this from, either live today or if you're going to watch it in the Restream later on, please check your local laws about 3D printing firearms because they are different all over the world. Some of the things that come up directly about 3D printed firearms is they're untraceable, they're unregistered, and you have no idea who's 3D printing a firearm. Some of the drawbacks to 3D printing a firearm are they're not very reliable. The first one that was put out there a couple of years ago, I'm trying to remember the name of it, the Liberator. This is put out by a U.S. company called Defense Distributed. It's stated to post plans for its 3D printed handgun, dubbed the Liberator, on their website on Wednesday, which was today. It still has not gone up. I actually went and checked their website today. It is not available yet because this is still in court. Now, because it's coming from the US, it is made available globally. What is that impact? And I want this to be a discussion amongst us all today, and I want you to give some thought to it. The impact, as far as I can see, I'm not a gun owner. I don't own a gun. I've shot many firearms in my lifetime, through my learning how to shoot when I was a kid, right through into adulthood. I've shot many guns. I've gone hunting. I've gone, gone to ranges, that sort of thing. I do not own a firearm. I don't feel the need to own a firearm, partially because of my own personal background. If somebody's going to shoot me, they better make sure I don't get up. That's all I got to say. But at the end of the day, what is the impact? Here in Canada, we found out through global news that it's illegal. Okay, I'm going to read this word for verbatim here. It's illegal to manufacture or possess a firearm without the appropriate license and applicable registration certificate. Jean-Philippe Levert, a spokesman for Public Safety Canada, told that to Global News in a statement. So, if you are in Canada and you want to print a 3D gun or 3D print your gun, well, it's illegal to do so because it's unregistered, it's unserial numbered, and you may not have a permit to own a firearm. So, how do I feel about that in Canada? Well, I think that's great, but if you want a gun, if somebody wants a gun, they're going to be able to get a gun, regardless of where you are in the world. There's always going to be some fool that can go out there and find a firearm from many different sources, disreputable sources, street sources, back alley sources. You don't have to jump through all the hoops to get a firearm. I've known people that own firearms and never had any certificates on them. At the end of the day, is that right or wrong? I think it's wrong because I love our gun laws here in Canada. If you feel you need to carry a gun, I know that's part of the Constitution in the U.S. that you can carry a gun, you can feel safe and have one in your home, great, but I'm not going to be one of those guys who stands up and becomes a tree-hugging, bark-biting, sandal-wearing, libertarian that says, guns are bad, guns kill people. Well, no, people kill people. Guns are just an instrument. It's like people build houses. Hammers are just an instrument. It's what people don't realize. Yes, you can kill a person with a hammer too. And you can 3D print the hammer and it's not illegal. But in Canada, it is illegal to 3D print your gun because it's not registered. You got any questions there about that so far?
Nothing really, just a discussion with Steve View 3D talking about the Second Amendment rights in the U.S. and it's very valid. I mean, each country has their own views. I know back when
No, you got no mic.
Let's try that one. Okay, so I'll just come around.
Okay.
But when I was in the U.S. working, we had discussions with Texans who carried guns all the time, and what I'd found, we had a discussion. I said, in Canada, we don't have to worry about someone breaking into our house and shooting us. And their response was, we don't have to worry about someone breaking into our house. Both very valid arguments.
Yeah, very valid points, but at the same time, gun or no gun, I've never had to worry about anybody breaking into my house. I'm 6'2" and 280 pounds. I'm like a bull in a china shop. If I hit you, chances are you're not getting up. You know, this right here is just as powerful as the sledgehammer that I have at home. But that's not the discussion. The discussion is morally, and I know morally everybody's going to have their own opinion on 3D printing a firearm, but this company that's supplying blueprints and that kind of thing, what is the name of this company again? Defense Distributed, DD. They are making parts. They actually sell a machine on their website. It's called the Ghost Gun Replicator. And what it will do, and what a ghost gun is, in case anybody doesn't know, a ghost gun is a firearm that is not registered, has no serial numbers, and has no other markings. So it is essentially a non-existent firearm. But with the products that this company sells and is going to be releasing blueprints and CAD drawings and STLs, you can physically make a full-blown firearm from the things that they supply. Good or bad, it's not for me to say. Do I want to download and print a gun? No, because I don't need to go to jail here in Canada. I'm not registered as a gun owner. Will I follow up this story a little bit more with our local law enforcement? Absolutely. And I have a brother who's in law enforcement, and I'm going to have a little talk with him about it and find out exactly where all the legalized areas lie and what the venue is for that. But with what this company is doing by releasing all of these plans is they are now putting the potential of a lethal weapon in the hands of anybody that doesn't have a background check, has never taken a gun safety course, could be, I'm not saying that if you 3D print a gun you are, but could be of a criminal element. It's just going to make things a little bit easier to access. Now, here's some of the things you might think about, and I'm going to use this Sunlu filament as an example. If you 3D print a gun or a firearm from PLA, chances are it's going to blow up in your face. And the reason for that is because when you fire off a round of ammunition, there's a concussive blast because the blasting, or the cap that goes off inside the shell, ignites the powder that's in there and causes the projectile to go down the barrel. That is such a high velocity concussive blast that it will blow a PLA gun apart. So chances are you're going to get hurt and you may miss your target. Any questions?
Nothing, just more discussions, and John Powell says even if you made it, you still have to get the ammo.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Well, this Liberator gun that they've got up, or that they've been wanting to put up on the on their website, it's already out there in the wild because they put it up a while ago. Right now it's been taken down, but it's in the wild. And you know as well as I do, if something like this is in the wild, people are going to find it. And somebody else is going to put these plans up. But that particular firearm is only good for one shot. And I think they've made it out of nylon or ABS. One of the two they made it out of. There's been little information about how it was originally printed, but the fact that you can make a firearm today on a 3D printer opens up a whole new can of worms. How do you police that? How do you say, okay, now we have to register our 3D printers because they're now a manufacturing tool for deadly weapons? Can you make knives on 3D printers? Absolutely you can, and there's been several examples of those. Just go to Thingiverse. I think there's probably about 200 of them up there. Everything from letter openers to ones that'll cut bread, like serrated blades. Can that be used as a weapon? Absolutely it can. You know, in prisons all around the world, people make makeshift weapons out of toothbrushes. So is the 3D printer a tool to make weapons for disreputable people? Could be. Could it be a good science experiment? Absolutely. With the right people involved, with law enforcement involved, and with knowledgeable people about firearms involved. I think that could be a great experiment. Do I want to do that experiment? I'm kind of thinking, yeah, I do. It would be great for you guys to see. It would be great for me to see. And as I was telling Brian earlier, if I were to ever print one off, I would do it with law enforcement present, and then we would literally smash the gun right here on the show. So I'm hoping to talk to some local guys here soon about it. Maybe print one off if we can get a hold of the plans, and then take it out to a firing range and then destroy the gun afterwards, because it's no good after it shoots one anyway. But some of the newer guns that they're showing off, like AR-15, that thing's good for like a whole clip. It's totally 3D printed. How many rounds does a clip hold? I don't know. I've never fired an AR-15. But it's very interesting to see where we are going in terms of technology. Ben just had a comment there. I want to read that. Ben Brady over on Facebook says, Solid Concepts has a metal 3D printed gun that has had it for more than 4 years, printed with laser sintering. Laser sintering is a whole different ball game. I mean, you're looking at more of an industrial application when it comes to laser sintering. I've seen those machines. I see what they're capable of. But what we're talking about here is a plastic 3D printed gun that anybody can make. So you don't need $100,000 machines to print it. You can print it on a $300 printer. That's where I see this being a easy tool for the bandits of the world. That's probably the best way to put it. I'm trying to be diplomatic here. But that's kind of where I see it going. If this company is allowed to put out plans for 3D printed firearms, that just blows the laws, any gun laws that you may have in your country, right out of the water. Because now anybody and everybody can own a firearm, whether it does it once, whether it does, you know, a whole magazine. Now, Ben's saying it's a magazine. I understand that it's a magazine, but they're 3D printing everything. Stock, the part that, there's only actually one part in a gun that has to be registered, and that's the part where the trigger sits and the firing pin. That has to have a serial number. The rest of it, you can machine. And people in the U.S. have been making their own ghost guns for years. Yes. Since the turn of the century. They've been, you know, back in the Civil War, they made their own. But now we have laws in place to protect the average human, animal, you know, anybody. So, am I for the gun laws in the U.S.? Yes and no. I think the gun laws in the U.S. have to be a little stricter. I like our gun laws here in Canada. I know when they made a huge change to our gun laws here in Canada, at one point you didn't have to register your firearms here in Canada. You could, as long as you had a firearms certificate that said that you've taken a course, that you could go and buy a firearm, and you didn't have to go through any background checks, you didn't have to go through any of that stuff. Then they made the change because gun laws in Canada were pretty loose. They made the change that every gun that a person owns had to be registered. You had to have a, you had to have a hunter safety course. You had to go through all the appropriate steps to own a firearm. So with those in place, it's made it much harder to own a firearm. And there's certain firearms in Canada you can't own, plain and simple.
And there's multiple tiers. You've got your regular and your restricted firearms.
Right, and then you have your collector firearms. There's a whole category for collector firearms. Is a 3D printed gun a collector firearm? I don't think so.
And then our long gun registry.
Yeah, our long gun registry, yeah. So we have different tiers here, and I think if they took that and implemented some of that in the U.S., it wouldn't restrict your constitutional right, but at the end of the day, I guess if you're a firearms owner and you think that your laws are just perfect, great. I think our laws in Canada are great for that. We don't have nearly as much gun violence as we used to have back in the 80s and less than that, 70s, 60s. You know, we've got some pretty good gun laws here. And I don't want to debate the, yours is better than mine sort of gun laws. But at the end of the day, I think that we have to be conscious that this is something that is available. I've put links in the description, as I've said, about these new laws or what's happening in the U.S. with this, because it hasn't been made law yet. Go read those articles, get more informed, please, because there's so much I could go through, and I'd be here for 3 hours if I went through it all. As Ben saying, there's lots of stabbings in Japan. One weapon to another weapon, you can 3D print them. That's all I'm saying. I think that we as a society have to decide what is best for us individually. And like I said, I'm not a gun owner. I don't need to have a gun, and I don't feel the need to have a gun. I have 2 swords at home. Which,
we've got katanas,
no, I have real swords at home.
Oh, nice.
I have a 48-inch broadsword at home that, believe me, that'll take a chunk out of you if it won't lob your limbs off. And I don't have to have that registered. Should I need to register it? I don't know. I use it as an ornamental, but it'll kill you for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I think with this whole gun thing, I think people aren't going to go out of their way to buy an $800 printer when they can buy a $300
Smith & Wesson. Yeah, exactly. I agree. We won't, Ben, I'm going to not talk about what you just sent me, but we will talk about that later. I want to make sure that if you've got them, then we'll talk about something in a bit. We'll talk offline, off the air. Because I do want to contact some people before I move forward on actually printing, firing, and showing you guys how we can do this scientifically. And it's out there, it's in the wild now, we know that it's available. All I'm saying is if you're planning on doing this, be responsible, get the proper permissions, and be a good citizen, because at the end of the day, we want to be good to our neighbors, we want to be good to our family, and we want to be good to the world around us at the end of the day. Any comments that?
We started to get into a bit of a debate about which country's better. That didn't. I would say we both are so used to our normal way of life at this point.
Yeah.
That it is unusual to fathom the other side, but both nations, it works in their own way.
Yeah, we're backdoor neighbors to one another. I mean, in 2 seconds you can be across the border, and you're in a brand new country. You don't have to get on a plane to go to a new country. You just drive down to the border. It's what, an hour and a half, 2 hours away.
Grass, pick up your Amazon order.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love the fact that this is a discussion. I want you guys to have this discussion because it is something that's out there now, and my thoughts on it may not be your thoughts on it, and I'm okay with that. This is not a debate whose country is the best, who has the best laws, who has the best constitution. This is not the debate. But for me and for you, I would just say be responsible. If this is something you want to do it safely. Don't hurt yourself, don't hurt other people, okay? So
3D printing trucker summed up well. No country is better. We're all screwed up.
yeah, that's true. We're all screwed up. I've been to other countries, and I can tell you, they're just as screwed up as we are. Because we don't make the laws, our politicians make the laws. And we put our politicians in power. Damn NDP. Oh, did I say that out loud? Did I say that in my outside voice? So, 3D printing. Let's just talk about 3D printing. I'm done. I'm going to leave it in your hands. The discussion is there. As you guys know, we have a brand new page. Go over, like it if you haven't liked it yet. It is the First Layer page on Facebook. What we're trying to do is we're trying to broaden our, broaden our reach with this show and with our community and get it out there. Now, if you haven't already, Brian's reminding me to like, subscribe, or not like, but please subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified every time that we do a brand new episode here on the First Layer. Some people I want to thank first and foremost is, of course, Brian, Jess, and Frank, who have been working behind the scenes quite a bit while I was down and have been helping to keep this afloat. And we're gonna get these guys working a little bit more. You saw that, did you?
You can hear the awkward laugh.
Yeah, the awkward laugh. We're going to involve them more in what goes on around here because we are trying to build an in-house family, and we've got some great people to help us out along the way. Very talented people, Jess, Frank, and Brian, all very talented people. So I want to thank them first. Everybody give them a thumbs up, give them a heart, give them whatever you want to give them, either on Facebook or on YouTube or on Twitch, because we're on Twitch today as well. And, you know, just give them some love, because those guys, without those guys, I look like a fish out of water, to be perfectly honest with you. I also want to thank my Patreons. I got a new card I'm working on, which will be coming up in the next show. If you're not a Patreon yet and you want to see some of the special stuff we're doing over there just for our Patreon viewers, go to patreon.com/thefirstlayer and sign up for one of the levels over there. We've got a new video releasing next week on the dark side. We've started to paint him now, and we're going to continue on with that. I'm going to show you guys more techniques on painting a 3D model. And then we're going to get into a special project. We're talking about doing a Core XY, but a very unusual Core XY printer. Big, 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 big. We're talking right now, the theoretical dimensions are 500 by 500 by 1,000 millimeters. So half a meter by half a meter by a full meter. Build volume. So that's something that's going to be coming up on Patreon as well. Now, if you're not into a monthly commitment, that's okay. I'm fine with that too, because I love your faces and I love you guys joining us every week as you do. You can go ahead and buy any one of the team a coffee by going to buymeacoffee/thefirstlayer. And we share all that in the same pool anyway, and everybody can have some fun. We're thinking about after we got a 1-year anniversary coming up in October. Maybe we'll do something special in October. All of us will just go out and have a nice party. Take Derek with us. Speaking of Derek, I want to thank Spool 3D for all of the stuff that they do for us by supplying us with the things that we need to keep this show running, especially the space that we're in. It looks a lot better than my dingy basement at home. So if you are looking for parts, printers, or filaments, go to spool3d.ca. Print it right, print it with spool3d.ca. And if you're in Canada, orders over $140 have free shipping, okay? Oh, if you guys want to send anything to the show, here's the address. We're going to put it up on screen now. If there's something you want me to show on the show, send it to the First Layer at 230 11929 40th Street, Southeast Calgary, Alberta, T2Z 4M8. And we've got some stuff to send back here to somebody. And if you want it back, just include a self-addressed stamped envelope. We'll put it in the mail and send it back to you. If you want us to keep it and put it on the set, we'll do that as well. We're moving into phase 4 of the studio build, or phase 3 of the studio build, pardon me, where we are going to do something with this back wall. And then you'll be able to see some of the special stuff that people send in. Last but not least, if you have something that you want to talk to me about privately and that you don't want to put into our Facebook group or on any of the chats when we do a live stream, you can certainly always email me at richard@thefirstlayer.com, and I respond to all my emails. I tend to respond to emails faster than I do to comments on YouTube, unfortunately. That being said, I think that's pretty much it for today. Let's see if we got any questions here.
Just suggestions on YouTube, more painting videos.
More painting is coming up. We are going to continue on working on Wonder Woman as well. We've got an episode coming up in the next few weeks where we're going to go back and look at more useful 3D prints for your home. And this time we're tackling prints that are good for people that have some sort of disability, whether you're a diabetic or you have some motor skill problems. So we're going to cover some of the easy things that you can print out that will help you in your day-to-day life. Maybe a 3D printed mural. Oh, that's you saying that.
I'm replying to 3D printing trucker need a community printed mural on that wall.
We are working on that. Yes, we got lots of things that we're going to do back here. We just haven't decided what yet. And I have a design for a nice shelf that'll go back there, and we'll be able to put some pretty cool stuff. So remember, guys, first of all, thank you again for watching this live stream today and being a part of the live stream. If you want to be a part of the live stream in the future, if you're watching this in the Restream later on, we shoot every Wednesday at 1:30 in the afternoon, and we'll usually go on for about a half an hour or so. We have a little bit of a pre-show, and then we just go ahead and go on. Now, would you guys, I'm going to put this question out to you guys, would you guys like to do an after show in an upcoming live stream where it's just for us, and then we can cut that out if you guys want to do an after show and talk about some stuff that we didn't talk about on the show. Again, just put your comments in the comments for this video down below, both on Facebook and YouTube. I appreciate that. Like I said, we got a contest running till the end of the month for a 3D printed pen from Sunlu. And I'm going to show you how to use that in the next couple of days. You'll see that on next Friday. You'll see how to use that. And until I see you guys next Wednesday, live again here at the First Layer Studio here at Spool 3D, remember, the first layer is always your foundation to a great print. Until next week, see you guys. Now you got to cut. He's new.